Last time, we had the best season of our Pokemon Draft League career, in what represented the culmination of our 8-year journey. All these stories brought us to the finals. The finals, where we came up short. I meant it when I said that it'll be a while until you see me again. But as fate would have it, we got invited to the Season 2 of the Shuckle Premier League, just in time for the Indigo Disc DLC. With us now donning the name of the Thunderclap Titans, we only have one simple goal: finish the story. And as far as our place in the order, I got first pick, meaning that I have both access and full liberty towards taking any of the new Pokemon that got introduced, something that nobody can do anything about. So naturally, I decided to take Dragapult. Oh, come on! You would have done the same thing too! What do you mean I eat corn the long way? This is arguably the best Pokemon in Draft League. Because of its amazing speed, I have full liberty to run Adamant or Modest Nature on a lot of these matchups and still be able to outspeed my opponent's team. It can fulfill an insane amount of roles, whether it be an all-out special attacker with choice specs, a physical set with Dragon Dance, which pairs really well with Dragon Darts. Not to mention its many other support roles like setting dual screens, Will-O-Wisp which pairs really well with Hex, as well as even being a great pivot with U-Turn. And when you add that with its great abilities, this Pokemon is a living cheat code, which is why it is my round 1 pick. With this, I realized that it's important to get myself a good Pokemon to support Dragapult, because while it is an amazing revenge killer, it needs prior chip damage to finish the job. Well, Junbei Haoshun Zhongwen Washion Di. As my next pick is Chi-Yu, the ultimate wallbreaker in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. If we're talking mindless button clicking, there is no Pokemon that embodies the mantra better than this destructive goldfish. Other than its already monstrous base 135 special attack, this thing's ability is a highway robbery. Because Beads of Ruin literally reduces the opposing Pokemon's special defense by 25%. In other words, its enemies won't be well done. It'll be congratulations! As I got the wheel pick, I figured it'd be a good idea to get both a hazard setter and remover, since for the latter, this is still very much a luxury. Well, it turns out that I once again hit the jackpot, because my next pick is Iron Treads, a Pokemon that I'm no stranger to using before, as shown in my first season back. While Treads is no great tusk, it still has plenty of good physical bulk and coverage across all sides, with moves like Ice Spinner to take down flying types. Not to mention its natural stabs in Earthquake and Iron Head, which combined with its good base 106 speed makes it one of the best utility players with offensive capabilities. Now that I got a dragon, as well as a steel, it's high time that I wrap it up with a fairy, especially since I expect them to all be taken in this upcoming round. So since I got a special breaker, it's time for me to get a physical one, as my next pick is a Azumarill. As a lot may know by now, its huge power ability doubles its attack stat, which combined with the offensive prowess of both Fairy and Water makes it a very difficult Pokemon to take on. Its typing as well as its stats also allow it to be impressively bulky as well, making it thrive in the role as a Pokemon that is guaranteed to take a piece of my opponent, with the added bonus of being able to sweep as well. With Belly Drum taking it a +6 attack and its already strong priority in Aqua Jet, I can very much clean house with it should the conditions be set properly. Otherwise, this thing breaks just fine with Choice Band and eats a lot of special hits with an Assault Vest. This Pokemon has always been reliable, and this time won't be any different either. Before we continue though, there's one thing I need to say. Unfortunately, I'm currently going through issues regarding my YouTube monetization. Due to the broken system of AdSense for people such as myself who have moved to different countries and are yet to become a permanent resident or citizen, I find myself unable to verify my identity. While there is a solution to this, I won't be able to earn any money this month. So I opened a Ko-Fi page, and if you are by chance willing to show me some support, I'd greatly appreciate it because it honestly goes a really long way. Anyways, back to the video. Speaking of different, Terra Captains. Last season, I ended up using Uni and caused a lot of chaos, which ended with her getting Terra banned. So I figured that this time around, I'll do the exact same, but with another Pokemon. Galarian Articuno. one of the most slept on Pokemon in Draft League. With such an impressive stat distribution and ability in competitive, which raises special attack by 2 stages with each stat drop, you'd think that this would be higher on a lot of people's radar. Except the fact that it lacks the coverage to take down both Steel and bulky Dark types, which Terastallization fixes. With Terra Fighting, this thing has all the coverage in the world to take down teams by itself. Especially when you consider it having access to moves like Agility, Calm Mind, and Stored Power, which at one point in OU was sweeping a lot of teams. I decided to have the other 2 types be Flying and Steel. The former so that I don't have to click Hurricane, and the latter so that I simply cannot be poisoned as I'm going for broke. Through all this offense, it's time that I mix it with a bit of defense, as well as a proper ground resist that can offer far more to the team itself. And it is with great pleasure that I announce that our next pick be the returning Shaman, the MVP for the Bullet Punch Club in playoffs. It's honestly insane just how much hits it ended up taking throughout the season, especially when you combine it with Seed Flare, which hits as hard as a Leaf Storm and has a 40% chance of reducing my opponent's special defense by 2 stages. It has good coverage too, as Steel types get bonked by an Earth Power, Dragon types with Dazzling Gleam, and even Baton Pass to give me the needed momentum. I am beyond excited to continue my journey with this ball of never giving up, because this season, my opponent's time is up, and Shaman's time is now. With all these picks being made, I saw another issue. I have no grounded poison, and unless I want my opponent to bring toxic spikes against me, I need one that fulfills that criteria. Except, I need it to be something that I can bring on a consistent weekly basis. So I found just that Pokemon, as my next pick is Okidogi. Base 128 special attack, base 115 defense, and a very broken ability in Toxic Chain, where it doesn't matter whether what I click is a contact move or not. It has a 30% chance to Toxic my opponent, meaning that the more it attacks, the more it smacks. I was very impressed when I faced against it last season because of how broken its ability was. I guess what I'm trying to say here is, y'all better start looking at your nearest clock or watch, because
now it's rhyme time!
As we reach the end, I started realizing that I essentially lack a couple of middle mons. What do I mean by that? You see, I have a lot of these Pokemon that can constitute as breakers. However, I don't exactly have the best mons of being able to safely bring them in. So based on that, my next pick is Alolan Persian. With an insane base 115 speed, which is expertly combined with one of the most spammable moves in the game, aka Parting Shot, I essentially present myself a lot of leeway towards being able to keep the momentum on my side. Not to mention that with access to Fur Coat, its physical defense is doubled, thereby making it amazing for taking physical hits unless they are a fire type. The speed also works in my favor as I can both outspeed and knock out any of his physical setup sweepers with Stab Foul Play. This Pokemon has always had my interest, and I'm very excited to try it out. Having one Middlemon is not enough. I need 2, and I also need another Stealth Rocker as well as a Spiker. Well, lo and behold, my next pick is Deoxys Defense. Its atrocious base HP stat of 50 is made up for by its insane base 160 defense on both its physical and special side. While it may not have the best offensive stats, that is not the role it's meant to play. It's meant to be a great sponge as it both sets up hazards and allows free pivoting to any of my other offensive threats courtesy of Teleport, which is guaranteed to go on last, meaning that I can bring in my breakers very safely. A Pokemon's purpose is ultimately defined by how well one uses it, and that's exactly what the Thunderclap Titans will be doing. For the last pick, I wanted another reliable Terra Captain, something that actually manages to make full use of the mechanics, while also fulfilling its role of being a great mon to give me momentum. And you may be surprised by this one, but my last pick is Rotom Fan. Now, before you jump to conclusions, hear me out. Since the beginning of Generation 4, Rotom Fan has been subjected towards endless ridicule. Why? Because its ability is Levitate, a seemingly great one, if not for the fact that it's already part Flying type. For over 14 years, this was its unfortunate reality. Except now, with Terastallization, we can make this work. With Terra Electric, it has 0 weaknesses, and at times do buff to its electric type attacks for good measure, especially since it now has access to Pain Split again. So, support sets with Wisp that can hit just as hard very much worth it in my opinion. Its other two Terra types are Steel and Fairy because they're just great to use from a defensive standpoint. So yeah, that's the team for this season. Huge shoutouts and thanks go to my friends Addison, Maddie Brolick, PokeMMD, Lord MV, Maverick Shooters, and Don Schnack for helping me draft this one. I am very excited to begin this new era with each and every single one of you. For it is time for the Thunderclap Titans to rise. Please do like this video and subscribe as I'm on my way to 10,000 subscribers by the end of this year. And if you want to support me more, please do consider donating on my Ko-Fi page. But of course, only if you want to. Thank you very much for watching, and here's to an absolute banger season ahead. Push!